Hello all and welcome to Crochet Designs. My name is Mary and in today's tutorial we are working on this gorgeous little belt that you see right here. Very exciting, guys. Now if you didn't know this, the colour combination chosen for this belt was chosen by the lovely Yvonne Perich on one of our live antics which we have once a week, Saturday mornings, every week. Now, that is 10 a.m. Melbourne, Australia time on Saturday mornings. And what we do is we pop yarn on a table like so, and we face the camera down, and I choose someone from our live to choose a colour combination of our very next project. And the lovely Yvonne Perich chose these three colours. She didn't know what was coming, which was a bit of a surprise to her and to everyone else on the channel. But I've decided to do this gorgeous belt. And if you didn't know this, I've been wanting to do belts on the channel for such a long time now. So it's, you know, a long time waiting. But here we go. What you will need for your belt today is you will need 20 to 22 grams of each colour. Now it's not much, which is this is a 100-gram skein, okay, so I didn't even use a quarter of it. So there you go. Now this is an organic cotton that I bought here. It's by Maker, that I bought here from our Lynn Craft store, one of our largest stores here in Melbourne, Australia. Well, actually in Australia in general. And I bought this cotton to try it out. And it is actually, it's kind of like, it is an 8-ply or a DK weight or a number 3 overseas, but its texture's a little bit dense. So it's a thick 8-ply, if you will, like a dense 8-ply, not a stretchy one, a more of a tight one, which works well for this particular project. All right, so you'll need about 20 to 22 grams, something like that. Altogether I use 60 grams, and that's including the tassels that you see there. But, you know, you may use less or you may use a little bit more, which is fine. So allow yourself about 22 grams if you're using the same amount of chains that I did. All right. So I'll use that, one of each. That's what we did. You will need a 4-ply, I'm sorry, let's try 4mm crochet hook. She'll get it right in a minute, guys. Well, you will need your scissors, definitely. And you will need your sewing needle. Oh dear, I had a bit of an accident with that needle right there. Oh, you can see the little hole now. Look at that. Oh, you get to see it in the tutorial. Sorry about the blur. How's that? See the little hole right there? It was quite a lot of blood that came out of that. So if you're a little bit squirmish, I won't put it on there. I'll put it on my bloopers in a couple of weeks' time. You'll need 2 stitch markers right there. All right, so that's pretty much all you will need for your belt today, guys. I'm not going to talk anymore. I'm just going to let you get started. It doesn't take too long to create. I think the only thing that took me a long time was just to get across the row. But the actual pattern itself is extremely easy. All right, guys, I'm not going to talk anymore. I'm going to let you get started creating your gorgeous little belt color combination chosen by the beautiful Yvonne Perich. Alrighty, guys, we're going to start off by making a slip knot. Take the tail end of your yarn, wrap it around your finger once and twice, holding it there, holding it down there, grabbing the back loop, passing it halfway over your finger, hold it there. Let's get a nice close-up. Grab the other loop, passing it all the way over, pop your hook in, give everything a tug. All right, we're going to start off by making chains. And a chain is yarn over your hook. Let's do that. Yarn over your hook, pull a loop through, 1. Yarn over, pull through, 2. Yarn over, pull through, 3. And this is what we're going to be doing for this row. And 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Oops, stop there because I'm going to show you a quick tip. All right, I'm going to grab some stitch markers. Let me bring it out a little bit. And I'll just pull my yarn a bit so you can see what I'm doing. Just grab your stitch marker and pop it in the 10th. Now we did 11, so there's the 11th. So pop it in the 10th stitch. All right. And now, remember we did 11, so we'll count that as 1. All right. And then we go 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 and 10. Grab your stitch marker and pop it in your 10th stitch. This time we didn't do the extra, just so I can show you what to do. 10, and just do 3 more. 1, 2, 3 or 4, whatever. All right, so we're going to do like a gazillion stitches here. So you need to actually be able to count those stitches. After about 50 stitches, you start to lose count. Someone walks in and starts counting, you know, how many fingers they have on their hands, and you get sidetracked, and your 50 now becomes 5. All right, so what I want you to do, I don't know, I just wanted to say something there, is to actually pop a stitch marker on every 10th stitch. Therefore, if you got right up to 100, and someone walks in and says, you've got 25 skeins of yarn in stock, you think you've got 125 because your, brain is telling you 125. But if you go 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, you'll know exactly how many stitches you have, and it will save you the hassles for later. All right. So now your job, get this guys, is to chain up the exact amount of chains for you. Now, how many chains is that, I hear you ask? Today I'm doing 217 chains, all right? Therefore, when I do my next row, I will have 215 stitches. But if you are a 2 extra large up to 5 extra large, I would go up a little bit more and do 227 chains, okay? If you want to go up a little bit higher, you can do 237 chains and make your belt extra long, entirely up to you, okay? I will leave the measurements to the belt right up there now, and that's the measurements of my belt from the bottom tassel right up to the end of the other tassel. All right, so I will leave the measurements there now, and if you want yours to be longer, then just go up by 10 or 15 stitches, but make sure no matter what you go up to, you need to have an odd amount of stitches. Otherwise, your next row is not going to work. All right, so make sure you have an odd amount of stitches. I'll be working on 217 stitches today. So in my next row, I will end up with 215. All right, so decide what amount you would like. That's the measurement of my amount once it's complete. So I'm going to do that right now, and I would like for you to head off, do your chains, meet me back here once you do your chains, and we'll talk about what we're going to do next. Alrighty guys, you should by now have your 2.5 million, you love that, 2.5 million stitches. All right, now I've just popped a little stitch marker in my loop here, and that stops the work coming undone, by the way, if you're interested in that little tip when you leave it. I've been not using them lately and my work's been coming undone, so I pop it in there so that the loop does not come undone. But anyway, a little bit of trivia there. All right, so now what we're going to do is we're going to do a half double crochet. So yarn over your hook, skip your first stitch, your second, and your third. So not in there, but in your third. So you've got your yarn over your hook and straight into your third loop. It's just that top loop right there. Pull a loop through. You should have 3 loops on your hook. Yarn over, pull through all 3 loops on your hook. Grab your stitch marker and pop it in just these top 2 loops right here. Because after, when we come back to this stitch right here, we want to know exactly where we're going to put our hook. These chains here can get a tad confusing. So we're just going to pop it in there. That will be the end of this row, okay? Well, the start of this one at the moment, but the end when we come back. All right, so yarn over your hook. You're going to jump into the very next loop, which is there. All right, so like that, pop your hook in, pull up a loop, 3 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through all 3 loops, and you're done. Yarn over again, straight into the very next loop, right there. Pull a loop through, 3 loops, yarn over, pull through all 3 loops. That's 1, 2, and 3. And when you are counting, you're counting these little V's right here. Yarn over your hook, straight into the very next loop, and through. And guess what? That's it, guys. It's a simple row. Easy, easy row. Let's get a nice close-up for you so you can see exactly where I'm popping that hook. So yarn over your hook, straight into that top loop right there. Pull a loop through. You should have 2 on the bottom, 1 on the top. Yarn over, pull through all 3 loops. Yarn over, directly into your very next loop. Sorry about the close-up of the fingers there. All right, so there you go. And that's pretty much it for the rest of this row. It's super duper easy. Super duper easy. I love this row. I love it. And I love working with half double crochets. Do they not look simply gorgeous? You know why I stopped, guys? Because I don't want you to sit here and watch me do my 2.5 million stitches all the way across. So your job now is to do a half double crochet in every stitch all the way across until you get to your very first right here. Just the last 2 or 3 loops. Get to there and I'll meet you there once you're done. Alrighty guys, here it is. Now we're going to finish off this row. So yarn over your hook in your second last stitch with a half double and right into your very last stitch with your half double. So chaining 1, turn your work. Now you can turn your work any way you want. You can turn it this way or you can actually turn it that way. It's whatever suits you, whatever you find comfortable. There's no right or wrong way of doing this. So turning your work, you're going to work along the stitches now. So yarn over your hook in the very first stitch. Now if you give your work a tug, you can see the little space right there. Grab your hook, pop it through that stitch. You should have 2 loops on top, which is your stitch. Pull a loop through. You should have 3 loops on your hook. Yarn over, pull through all 3 loops. We're doing our half double yet again. Grab a stitch marker and pop it through the top 2 loops of that half double crochet right there. Yeah. And from here, you're going to chain 1. We're going to skip that next stitch, and these are the little V's that you see here. But don't do it this way where you see the V's. You want to do it straight like that. All right. So yarn over your hook, skip the first V, go into your next V, pull a loop through, yarn over your hook, pull through all 3 loops on your hook. You're still doing half double crochets across, but in the meantime we are doing chain 1. We are skipping 1 and jumping into our next stitch with our half double crochets. Chain 1, skip 1, jump into your next with your half double crochet, and you should be getting that look. All right, the chain 1 gives you the space. These little spaces here are going to be filled up in the next row, but in the meantime, chain 1, skip 1, half double across. Guess what? That's the pattern for this row. It's super duper easy, yeah? And you're going to fly through this row because it's, you know, half of the half doubles almost that you're doing. All right, I'm going to stop there for a minute. Chain 1, only because I've got a stitch marker here and my yarn is pulling. I went to do a center pull on this yarn and I pulled out a whole chunk. So there you go. It doesn't always work, your center pull. All right, so that's it, guys. You are doing half double crochet, chain 1, skip 1, half double crochet, chain 1, skip 1, half double crochet. You are doing that all the way across your 2.5 million stitches. And guess what, guys? Get to your very last 2 stitches. You should get to the very last 2. If you have an odd amount of stitches in your row, you should end up with 2 stitches left. All right, so your last half double will end up in there and then you'll have your 2 stitches left. All right, get to that stitch right there and I'll meet you there once you're done. Alrighty guys, here we are at the end of this row. Now I asked you to get to your very last 2 half doubles, which I am at right there. Yep. Chain 1. We're going to put a half double crochet in that stitch, which is why I asked you to keep your stitch marker in there so you can see exactly where to pop your hook. So straight into the stitch. You can take your stitch marker out if it's awkward for you to work this way. I would leave it until after I've done the stitch, but anyway, that's just me. Pull a loop through, 3 loops on your hook, yarn over, wait a minute, 3 loops on your hook. We were just about to do the yarn over pull through. We're not going to do that. We're going to grab our very next colour, which is the yellow. That's going to highlight our work. And we're going to pop the yellow over the hook. Leave yourself a nice long tail. Just helps with weaving in later. Pull the loop through like so. So you should have all of that. Now just give yourself an extra long tail. It just helps later. So tug everything at the back. Chain 1. Turn your work like you did before. Yarn over your hook. And in that stitch, which is really hard to see, it's right in there, you're going to pop your hook back in there with a half double crochet. A little bit tight and a little bit awkward because we pulled all those threads before nice and tight. So pull your loop through like so. 3 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through all 3 loops, grab your stitch marker and pop it in the stitch through the top 2 loops there. All right. It's a little bit awkward and tight, just that first stitch. The rest will be easy. Yarn over your hook. In the space where your chain is, you can, let me get it close up properly to save that lighting from playing up. You can see the little chain there. Pop your hook in the space, pull a loop through, tighten it all up. 3 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through all 3 loops. Yarn over your hook, straight into the stitch. Your half double crochet stitch, which is a little tricky, but it's there. Pull a loop through, yarn over, pull through all 3 loops. So we're going to put a half double crochet in every space and in every stitch across. So yarn over your hook, into the space, into the stitch. Are you getting it? Yeah, it's super duper easy. And guess what? That's it. That is it, guys. That is your row all the way across. It's going to be quick and easy. Well, not as quick and easy as the last one. That was very quick, wasn't it? I flew through that round. I'm sorry, let's try row. I'm getting confused with our Pretty as a Peacock blanket. Now, if you haven't tried our Pretty as a Peacock blanket, guys, I've left a playlist in a description box down below for that blanket. So that will be good and you can try that. It comes out gorgeous. All right, so that's the look we're going for. Yep, we're going for that look. Easy, easy. Your job now. Half double crochet in every stitch, every space, every stitch, every space, all the way across. Oh, it's so close. All the way across the row, like so. Get to your last stitch and your last space. Actually do your last half double right there, and I'll meet you there once you're done. Alrighty guys, now I forgot to mention before when we added the yellow to cut the green. And mine's been dangling off since the beginning. All right, so how gorgeous is it looking so far? Get excited. Alrighty, now we are going to end this row, but we're not just going to end the row, we're also going to end the colour because we want to add the blue, okay? So yarn over your hook, I asked you to get to this stitch right here. Pop your second last stitch in the space and your last stitch goes in your stitch with your stitch marker. Pull a loop through, but don't finish it. Let's take out the stitch marker because you're going to finish it with the blue. Drop the yellow. You can hold it in your hands at the back if you like. Grabbing your blue or whatever colour you're using. Pull your loop through like so. Yours truly, you know, I like to do it really tight, which is not a good thing always. Chain 1, turning your work. You're going to do a half double crochet in that stitch, the same stitch that you are in, obviously. And then let's just pop this big yellow one in there because it's, you know, big. It's big. All right, so now what we're going to do is, guess what? We're repeating that row right there. All right, so chain 1, skip 1, jump into your very next stitch with a half double. Chain 1, skip 1 into the stitch with your half double. Guess what, guys? Simple as. We've done this before, so you know exactly what to do. Skip and in there. And the other thing you can do also to make sure you're correct, your half double will go right above the one from the previous round, or the previous round. All right, so super easy, guys. You're just repeating that second third row. Hello, you're repeating this chain space row. How's that? All the way across. So chain one, half double, chain one, half double, chain one. Don't forget to skip your stitches, and I will meet you here once you're done. Oh, guys, guess what I did? I forgot to cut the yellow. Hello. I'm doing well. I keep forgetting to cut those colours. All right, so you should be here at the end of this row. Now, I don't know why I rolled my row there. All right, here we go. Let's move everything out the way. All right, so I forgot to chain my one. I haven't forgotten, I didn't get to the end. Skip one, jump into your last stitch with a half double crochet. Keep your blue, we're using the blue for the next row. Take out that stitch marker. Chain one, turn your work, half double crochet in the same stitch like so. And popping your stitch marker in there like so. Yeah, let's move that out the way, sorry. Oh, thread everywhere. Okay. So now what we're doing is exactly the same thing we did with our yellow row right here. You're doing your half double crochet in the space, like so. Half double in your stitch. Half double in your space. Now you know this because you did it before. Into the stitch. Into the space, into the stitch, tight stitch, into the space. I think you know what to do, guys. Super duper easy. I love this pattern so far. It is super duper easy, all right? So that's it. That's all you're doing. Half double crochet in your stitch, half in your space, half in your stitch, half in your space, all the way across. Get to the end of the row. Right here, right there, upside down in the last two stitches, and I'll meet you there once you're done. Alrighty guys, here we are at the end of this row, and I've got a lot of tails to weave in later. I think you may have them too, but yeah, anyway, let's not worry about that for now. Let's worry about let's do that. All right, so I got to the end of this row. I still need to do, we're still far away. Let's try that. I still need to do a half double crochet in that space, and then one half double crochet in the very last stitch right there. Pull a loop through, nice long loop or tail. Guess what? Give your work a cut and just pull that loop through. Take out your stitch marker off out of there, and also take it out from the other side as well. You don't need it there. I put it there, but we don't need it there because guess what, guys? You're done. But you're not completely done yet. What we want to do first, before we do anything else, is we want to weave in these ends. So grabbing any tail you like. Look at this one. It's very yucky, this tail. Let's just do that. Oh. And let's thread our sewing, darning, weaving needle, whatever you like to call it. Let's get everything out of the way. All right, so the way you weave in your end is really no particular way. All right, the only thing we have about these ends is the fact that they're right on the edge where you're going to put some tassels soon. All right, so what we're going to do is, I find it easier to actually go back into right there. Here we go, that's better. Back into the stitch right there. Try not to split the yarn. Yeah, back into that stitch, pulling that loop through like that, turning your work. Find a place to pass that through. Now you've gone through that stitch, we're going to go into another stitch like that, right there, all right, and directly into something like that in there. So you're passing through the stitches, going through some of the green underneath. Just check the needle, make sure you can't see it from one side, and that'll just go right through to the green threads on the inside. Right, you can pull it a little bit tight, but not too tight because you don't want that to be tugging. And you can do whatever you like. You can come back into something like that if you want, and then go across if you want. But I'm not going to do that. I'm going to go up, come back the other way, right? Go, we're in that stitch there. Yeah, I'm going to go back into the base stitch again, right there. Just make sure you can't see the needle. Now again, this is my way of doing it, but you can do it any way you like. Yeah, and then back in through those threads. Now this does make your work here a little bit thick or a little bit solid, but I think going one way and then going back the other way is going to stop it from coming out. Now before we continue, we're just going to go one more all the way through. Just check. Again, it's going to be pretty solid, pretty thick, and I find this cotton, like I said earlier, really, really solid. All right, so that's it. I think 3 times is plenty. If you want to find a way to go up and go around, you can. I'm done with mine right there. How cool is that? All right, don't forget to weave that one in. Before we go, we are going to work on a tassel right there. So when we talk about tassels, and again, you don't need to do tassels, this is just optional. When we talk about tassels, you can cut as many as you like. Now I'm going to be doing them all 3 colours in one. Oh, I haven't done the blue yet. Hello. The measurement you need, roughly, that is, now I'm going to measure one. I did 50 centimetres or 19 inches, like that. And then I measured it up with, these are rough measurements. It doesn't have to be perfect, yeah? And then I measured it up with the other one and did exactly the same. Then you grab all 3 of them. Alexa, grabbing your piece. Now this is the right side of our work. It doesn't really matter, but you can kind of tell that that bubbled side is the wrong side and this kind of nice side is the right side. But again, it doesn't matter because we went up and down and up and down. But if you really wanted to get pedantic, you would pop your hook underneath that right side of your work, grab your 3 strands. Oh, there's that sun. There's the sun beaming down on us. Sorry about it, guys. Oh, look at that. I didn't even go into the stitch right. Hello. Split the yarn. So you're going into the stitch. Come on, Mary. You have one job. One last job. Pull the loop through like so. And what you're doing is you're grabbing all of the ends and just pulling them through and giving it a tug. Now you're tugging everything into place. Again, it doesn't really matter which side you put your tassels on. Really, it doesn't. But there is one, okay? And once you've done your one, just give it all a big straight tug. Grab your measuring tape and you decide exactly how long you want your tassels to be, all right? So, I don't know, right now they're, let's go for 20 centimetres. Yeah, or whatever you want. Just cut one, grab them all like that, and cut them all however long you want. All right, I'm going to do 20 just for the sake of being even, and there you go. Now I'm going to do another set in the middle and another set there, so let's grab our thread. Okay, so all you're doing is grabbing 3 more threads like that, popping your hook the same direction. We want them all in the same direction, so just grab your hook, pop it in through some yellow part there. Hope that helps. And just grabbing a piece and pulling them through like that. Once they're through, you try and keep them together. Just grab the tails, bring them through. And once again, all you're doing is measuring it up with the other one. And again, it doesn't have to be like extremely perfect, but there you go. And I might end up giving that one a cut a bit more later. We'll see. Let's do the next one. But before we do the next one, let's just quickly weave in this end right here. Again, this is an end that, well, what can I say? It's an unusual end. They're all on unusual angles, but that's okay. That's fine. That's what it's all about, yeah? Trying to work out where to put your tails. Although this one's not too bad. We've got quite a bit of stuff that we can weave into there, or the other side, whichever. And it's already kind of facing inside, which is a bit of a bonus. So what I'm going to do is just pick up a loop somewhere, like that. Let's bring that up a bit, that's better. Like so. And straight into another loop, like so. It's almost like I'm going in one side out the other, that kind of thing. And then when I get here, I can see there's quite a few stitches that I can actually pop my needle through in there. Make sure you can't see the needle, right? Oops, don't do that. Pulling up another stitch from another area, don't do that. And that goes through there. Don't pull too tight because I just did that and it pulled the whole thread out. All right, so just doing exactly the same thing. Finding some more stitches to go into. Make sure you can't see from the front, like so. When you've gone through, don't do that. When you've gone through as much as you want to go through, just find another thread somewhere. I might even go through a little bit more, just in there. Yeah, once you've gone through enough, find another thread somewhere that you can go back into the opposite direction. And I'm splitting yarn on the inside, not the outsides, because you don't want it to be seen, but on the inside of my stitches. There's no way this guy's coming undone. No way. All right. So you can do that if you want, or you can just leave it there, or you can go back the other way. It's whatever suits you, yeah? Whatever suits you. If I go back the other way, I can't see anything. Ow, the needle. Ow, oh, look, my finger's sore, guys, because I just pinned it. You can't see it now. And it was bleeding quite a bit too. Yuck. All right, so that's done. Yuck, she says, yuck. All right, so let's grab our other threads. Oh, hello, look what I've done here. Too many yellows. Let's get rid of the yellows. Hello. I forgot to put a green in there. Mary, she's all over the place today, guys. She's all over the place. All right, so she is absolutely all over the place. All right, so now what you're going to do once again, find a little stitch in your green. Again, grabbing your tails. And there we go, pulling it through like so. Grab your threads, giving everything a tug. And once again, straightening it all out. Hello. There we go. Straightening it all out. And once again, just going to cut one so I know where to go. She's all over the place. Look, I didn't even do that straight. But do yours straight, guys. Do yours straight. So they're the three that I've got. We're going to go to the other side and do the other side. But what I want you to do for now is head off on your own, weave in all your ends, meet me back here once you've done your three sides, and we'll talk about what's going to happen next. And there you go, guys, that's both our tassels done. So what you now have is one beautiful belt. Now, I admit to cutting my tassels just that little tiny bit more because one side was cut shorter than the other. But it was only like a couple of little millimeters, wasn't much. All right, and I still look at that. It still needs to be trimmed a bit more. But there you go, guys. That is our beautiful belt colour combination chosen by the lovely Yvonne Perich on one of our live antics on Saturday mornings, guys. So if you want to be a part of our live antics and create the very next colour combination to our next project, then join us on Saturday mornings at 10 a.m. Melbourne, Australia time, that is. And that happens once a week on Saturday mornings. Now, we also have a live on Wednesday afternoons at 4 p.m, once again, Melbourne, Australia time. But we don't usually do live antics on that day. Live antics is done on Saturday mornings, and the lovely Yvonne Perich chose, I hope I'm saying your name right, Yvonne Perich, chose the colour combination, let's get rid of that little thread there, to this particular belt. She didn't know what was coming. Nobody knew what was coming. Now, I've been wanting to do belts on the channel for a very long time, since last year in September to be exact, and now we've done one. We're also going to do another one around April or May of next year. Thank you so much for joining us, guys. Don't forget to like, subscribe and share, and do all the wonderful things that you guys always do for me. And all I want to say, guys, is enjoy your belt. Thank you once again to the lovely Yvonne Perich. Ciao for now.